All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESOC Spring Championships 2025. We had some cracker games this week. Unfortunately, both of them were pretty one sided. I'm not going to give too much away in this little introduction, but we had some dominant displays. We have interviews from the winning players, and before I spoil anything, we're going to jump right into the first matchup, which was Hazza and Frontline. All right, so first game we had Hazza Spain versus Frontline's Inca. Frontline played a bit of a merc build, the mounted infantry, I do believe. Hazza did hold a nice early push from Frontline. Frontline transitioned to the fast fortress, tried to be a cheeky dog, go to industrial, didn't quite pay off for him, which led to the 1-0 from Hazza. Next game we had Hazza playing Ottoman into Frontline's Haudenosaunee. Frontline did play this as well as he could have. He ran him around really well, but has a sort of, I don't know. I think he could have ended in this one a little bit earlier if he just right clicked his base. But yeah, as I said, Frontline bought plenty of time, but time alone couldn't save him. Leads us into game three. Hazard's Russia into Frontline's Aztec. Frontline did go for the Warrior Priest boom here. He lost a war hut pretty early, like in the construction process. So I think as soon as that happened, it was a downward sort of spiral for him. He just couldn't get himself back into the game, and Hazza played Russia contain perfectly. Into game four, which was on Mongolia, I believe. No, not believe. I know, because this is a heavily Lakota favored map, and Hazard took that trading post early, really ramped up his shipment curve, and Frontline just couldn't quite get out of his base. Tried to go for a merc play, but a card came in a little bit too late, and yeah, Hazard's shipment curve, I think, ultimately won in the game. Took that TP and never really made it out past his outposts in base. So before we move on to the next game, we got an interview from Hazza. The man was kind enough to give me an interview, and I hope you enjoy it. Hello, hello. How are you, Governor?
I'm good out here.
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. All right, man. Congratulations. 4
Yeah,
0,
thank
you
you.
dirty little boy. You, you,
Yeah,
you pulled his pants down there. Crazy, crazy win into the final. How do you feel?
yeah, pretty solid, pretty good, pretty good. I'm quite confident as well, so this should be good. Should be good.
Yeah, I thought every matchup you played well. There was a bit weird pick there with Ethiopia, but I thought every single matchup you played it perfectly. It looks like you got your practice in as well. So yeah, you're looking pretty slick right now, mate.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't expect like over half the Civ picks he picked. So
Yeah, some
yeah, I
wild
was a little bit
ones.
like, what the hell is he picking?
Yeah,
It's just like, what is he doing, kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But he sort of tried to be too cute, I think, which is why it became even more one-sided. So
Yeah, look, mate. I
general.
think in these tournament games, you just need to do your 1% as well, and that's usually sort of what gets you over the line. And the tricky plays are nice to watch, and the weird sieve picks. But yeah, look, sometimes less is more.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's just like you don't want to be too complicated. You just sometimes it's simple, but like that's why Jan Rush has done so well in tournaments in the past because it's just so simple to do and punishes these other tight builds that rely on just, perfect macro and stuff like that. So if anything goes wrong, the Jan Rush is going to destroy you. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, we
it's like
saw that in the
stuff
Keita
like that.
Phoenix game.
Yeah, so Kennerboy tried to do like even just add a market in transition and like get hunting almost like squeezing the extra tech just to get the extra eco advantage. But then like that obviously delays his FF by like half a minute, which is enough to get punished. So
Yeah,
yeah, you saw that in Oller Mirror. So
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. No, he did get punished, but look, let's go into your games. Game one,
Sure.
Inca. Inca into Spain. I thought that was
I did.
interesting.
I did not expect that pick at all. I was expecting your France. I even expected Ethiopia. I was expecting France. I was expecting a Spain mirror. But like Inca, I did debate play Inca myself, but I never in a million years thought he would play it. So that was a bit of a wild one. But then obviously it's like a really OP native map, so I thought, okay, the OP nats on here are like ranged to lancers, so if I just open stable, it's actually kind of a good
Yeah.
response to what he's doing. So
Yeah, so he went the mounted infantry and the pikes early, took down that TP. You defended well
yeah.
up with the dogs and the Huss, which sort of drove him back. And then he
Mm.
goes into the 10 Jesuits, tries to turtle up. I think he sort of played into your hands a bit there, but the mounted infantry play was interesting, I'm sure. You probably weren't expecting that.
I
Everyone, go on, sorry.
I was gonna say I was expecting it because it's like that's the main reason why you pick a Nat Civ on that map, which is why I opened stable. But I didn't expect like the H4 because I thought he would just like spam Conquistadors twice, then 2P twice, then
Yeah.
Lancers. I was actually like, oh shit, is he gonna like destroy my army? Because those shipments are really really good. So. But I saw that he didn't have the cheaper Mercs and Mercs arrive faster card in decks, so I was kind of okay. But then he went H4, and I was like, oh, okay, time to right click.
Yeah, exactly,
So,
exactly. Yeah, I was
yeah.
expecting. I was expecting that. I was expecting double click Jesuits, double click the Tupi, and sort of go from there. It is a super nice combo. Those Jesuits are OP as shit. Um, but yeah, look,
So,
he go on.
sorry, I was going to say so are the two peaks. They're like
Yeah,
Imperial
exactly.
Longbow.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he went, and then he goes for the Maya Fort, the cheeky boy, which he sort of just took down with your Falcons pretty easily. But he then snuck one in right next to it. I was sitting there watching. I'm like,
Yeah.
surely he sees this. How does he not see this? But yeah,
It was literally just like one tile out of my line of sight.
yeah.
It was just unfortunate.
But look,
I should have moved the mortar up, but like I didn't want to be too committing under forts. So yeah, it's just it was a bit of a unlucky moment, but it turns out fine. So
yeah, didn't matter. And the mortar was a nice play to sort of just bring down that last offensive structure that he did have. Ben you look, that ended the match, and you went up 1-0 into game two, where you went for Otto into his Haudenosaunee. That was actually a really good game to watch. He,
yeah, that was the one I sort of made the most mistakes. So I guess
yeah,
that one was the closest. Um, because there was times where I could have just he was buying time with his army running around. I thought if I just catch it, I can just win and chill. But then at the same time, I could also just right click his vills. So and he can't do anything about it. So
yeah,
yeah, he sort of ran me around a little bit until I finally realised just right click him and get it over with, sort of thing. But I didn't see how I could lose a fight, so I was pretty confident that I'd win the game, even though I was getting run around. But it was way more harder than it needed to be. He did a very good job at actually just sort of using his mobility and catching off reinforcements. But
yeah. Look,
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you don't catch 5 Jan catches you. So
yeah, correct. Yeah, you're right. That's actually what I had just down here in my notes. Yeah, he did try run you around, but you did the right thing finally at the end and just right clicked and won the game.
yeah,
Mamluke's MVP.
yeah, good units. I even healed one of them to full HP afterwards as
Yeah,
well. It's like a low HP one, so I just thought, I'm gonna heal that bad boy up, and I've got infinite snare. So yeah,
yeah.
good unit against Zero.
They just don't die, man. Honestly,
No, they
there's
don't.
such a good unit and like criminally underused. I think across the board. Um, But yeah,
Yeah,
you lost some
100%.
vills early to the Kenya. Were you spewing when you went down to 13 vil?
I wasn't angry. I was just like, how have I done that sort of thing. I
Yeah,
mean, I was still okay because he did fast stage and he didn't do. I scouted. He didn't go dock start. So he's either like full all in or he's just trying some weird in between build that's just not precise enough to beat Olo. So either way, I was kind of fine.
Mm.
Obviously, losing two builds, Olo is not amazing. It's kind of awful, but like I still felt like I was in a good position because I followed up with 5-0 and then Ace behind him. So we kind
Yeah.
of aced at the same time, despite me shipping 5-0. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And the forward TP, what was the thought process there? Were you buying time with that, or?
The build I wanted to do second TP regardless, so I kind of just put it where my hero was.
Yeah, yeah,
In a
fair
way,
enough.
there wasn't really much thought to it, but like if he does go and siege it, it means I can just have more time gathering. So in a way, it is good, but there wasn't really too much thought behind that. Like it doesn't matter where it is. If he goes in, if let's say it's the bottom right of the map, he's got to go to the other side of the map. Let's say it's top right, he's got to go all the way over there. So it's wasn't really much thought to it. It's just wherever it is, it's still buying time.
Yeah,
So
correct, correct. Look, I thought worth the question. But yeah, look, it was a brilliant win in the end, and that took you 2-0 up into the third game, Russia into Aztec.
yeah.
What were you thinking at the start of that one?
So I'd actually practiced that matchup a little bit. Um, And obviously, I know I had a feeling Frontline would first pick Aztecs there. I was initially going to go India, but I thought I've been practicing Russia Aztec on that map for a little while. And I just thought this Cossack build, I think he wouldn't expect. And I know he's going to try and build forward with his 700 wood. So
Hmm.
if I can just deny him going forward with like 10 Cossack to deny the 4 Jags, and then I can
Yeah.
just go forward behind, I'm pretty much ahead at like 5 minutes into the game, whilst I'm running his base around with 10 Cossacks. And I
Ye-
think I forced 6 Pumas, which is just huge because it means he's down 5-0. So yeah,
Correct.
those Cossacks did a lot.
Yeah, so he went for the warrior priest boom, and then
Yeah.
you denied that war hut, which I think was the tipping point in my eyes. That sort of just slowed him down and really allowed you to play Russia's contained game, and you played it perfectly.
Yeah, so the key was to. I've noticed Cossacks aren't that good on DE. But like
Yeah,
I started stable because I wanted to kill the Jags and then idle him and then put him on the back foot. And whilst he's trying to deal with my Cossacks with like warriors and his hero and leftover Jags and 6 Puma, I can just build blockhouses mid map.
yeah,
So it's like I can just it's whoever has map and holds it on that map just wins. So like if I can take it, then it's just so good for me,
yeah, yeah,
honestly. And then I started going full infantry spam because obviously he sees a stable, so he's like, "Oh crap! I need to have always got to have like 5 to 10 pikes at all
yeah,
times, so I don't die to cav." And then I just spam for the infantry and send the infantry upgrade card, so they're basically almost veteran. So I have like veteran, like half veteran Musk Strel,
yeah,
and he's not got 5-0. So that was such a good start. It was just so clean.
yeah. It was
Excuse me.
brilliant. It was brilliant. Um, yeah, I thought that was one of the cleaner games from you. Um, just really contained him. But yeah, then
Yeah.
you go up 3-0 there, and what's sort of the headspace there? You going, fuck, am I going to claim this guy or?
Yeah, because I had Lakota on Mongolia, and I don't think any Civ beats Lakota on Mongolia. So I
Yeah,
was just like, the only way I can lose is if he picks a mirror, and he didn't. So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of
easy. Yeah,
game over.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
so because I practiced Hausa Ethiopia, but sorry, Hausa Lakota, but I didn't practice Ethiopia Lakota. And but it's pretty much the same principle.
yeah,
African Civs are slow. You can bully them a bit whilst taking 4 TP stage. And then obviously Ethiopia doesn't have a proper skirm unit in H2, so long H2 I can just sort of go almost full bow rider.
yeah.
Um, and he can't really kill. Like, I guess Kenya are good against bow rider obviously, but then I just have Seaton as well. So it's like if I have carded bow rider plus some Seaton, it's just I don't see how he kills me.
No, and then
So
the TP line early that just carried that shipment curve for you, and yeah, you pretty much exact same thing. You just played contain again with better micro, might I add, and yeah, that was another easy win for you.
Yeah, like I said, it's just that map is Lakota heaven, right? You
Yeah.
start with an extra coin crate so you can build an early TP if you trade coin. You got a Ferrari hero so you can pick up a lot of yaks. You
Yeah.
got you got cav treasures that improves like siege damage and speed, which is like literally the perfect
Yeah,
treasures for
yeah,
Lakota.
yeah, yeah.
And you can get like I didn't get this one actually, but I could have got there was just too much going on in the fights. He was pushed very early. But there was a 300 XP treasure that I was planning to get before Axe Riders as well. So it's just like you can get so much free stuff with Lakota,
Yeah,
and then you could always age 14 Vil with the TP, which is just so key.
yeah,
Because otherwise you'd have to age a Vil later, and that stops all the timings. So
yeah.
it's just a
The
perfect.
holy trinity, mate. You just hook, line, and sinker. It was over before it began.
Yeah, kind of. I was very confident when I queued into that matchup because Ethiopia's a slow civ and Lakota's a fast one. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so that took you to game four nil. Dude, as I said, you're a madman. 4-0 frontline in the semi final, like crazy stuff. But yeah, the grand final now. You keen?
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This might be the closest series of the tournament. Who knows? It
Mate,
might
at
just be
this sta-
another
at
5-0.
that, I'm sure you're hoping. But look, Keita Boy is going to have something to say about that, I reckon. Great
Yeah.
player, like I'd say, yeah, broad civ pool as well. Yeah, how are you sort of feeling about that one? What's the prep going into that one without giving too much away?
Um, I feel quite confident actually because it's a best of nine, and I feel like my civ pool is bigger because I have the African civs under my belt. I've got all the legacy ones. Um, all the native ones and all the Asian. He has all the Asians and natives as well, but like I don't think he has the African civs, and I don't think he has
Mm,
Italy as well. So I've got more of a broad civ pool, and it's a best of nine, so that matters more. Um, but in terms of like playstyle mechanics, I feel like we have pretty similar like strength of mechanics. Basically, we're both quite good in multitasking, micro, macro sort of thing. So I think it's just gonna come down to game plans mostly.
yeah, for sure. I think so. And I think it's one of those ones where, like, look, I think anything can happen, and the best man on the day is going to take it and win it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see if Boy will be the first person to take a game off me.
He did drop a game to Phoenix, so the chance of the clean sweep is out the window. But yeah, mate,
Yeah,
you're still running on a clean sheet, so yeah, you're feeling good, you're looking good. And what are
yeah.
you starting to think about what you're gonna do with the prize money? Going to the pub or?
Well, yeah, I'll definitely start with that probably. I'll probably just treat me and the missus out somewhere in London or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe a holiday because it's her birthday coming up soon, so something like that.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
nice, mate.
yeah.
And look, we did catch up last week, and you did say it might be your last one, but look, I hope it's not. It's been a pleasure watching you, and chatting with you as well. As I was saying before, thanks for your time. Um,
No
always,
worries, man. No worries.
always sort of popping in and giving me an interview when I need it. It's much appreciated.
No, you're very welcome, mate. I appreciate the work you do. It's kind of not enough people sort of promote ESOC and promote tournaments and stuff like that. So I do appreciate that as well. So I love this community. So
Yeah, so do I. So as I said, I really do hope it's not your last one, mate. And even if it is, I hope you stick around and we can do some in houses.
I might stick around, yeah, for sure. But in terms of tournaments, I'm not sure because I am going to go traveling for about a month after, for a month, like 1 week after I finish the finals. So, and then after that, I might, well, hopefully we'll have a job by then because I've been a bit unemployed for the past few months. So, hopefully I have a job by then. And yeah, probably won't play this game as competitively as I am now. So it'll be
Yeah.
something like that. But I think I'll still play a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, mate. We never quit. We just take breaks, don't we?
Exactly. I've tried quitting multiple times. It's never worked. So
Oh, perfect. Look,
yeah.
we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for your time again, and good luck in the final, mate.
Cheers, mate. Peace. Peace.
All right. I hope you enjoyed Lexi barking at the end of that last clip. Moving into our next series, we have Kita Boy versus Phoenix. So we had Kita Boy playing Spain first game into Phoenix's France. Kita Boy held the early H2 push from Phoenix. He went for a massive musketeers, repelled that, and sort of slowly pushed into Phoenix's base. Got the Falcons up, sorry, and finished the job. The next game we had an auto mirror, nice and simple Jan rush from Phoenix was too much for Kita Boy to hold. Made some mistakes on the way, but yeah, just couldn't really recover. Was held idle a little bit too long, and the series was equalised there. And at this point, we thought we might have been on for a thriller, but Kita Boy took one straight back with Haudenosaunee playing into Russia. Had a nice little choke in the final fight of the game there to block off the Cossacks from his anti-infantry there, and yeah, took that to bring it to 2-1. Now the next game we have the Lakota Mirror. Kita Boy once again dominance on that trade line is key, and he really ramped up his shipments, and Phoenix started making some bow riders. The composition was a bit weird, and I think standard Lakota play prevailed here for 3-1. Into match point here, we had Kita Boy playing Germany into Phoenix's Spain, and you know what? This was a cracker game. We had real early pressure from Phoenix here. He cleaned Kita Boy a couple times, but unfortunately overcommitted under Kita Boy's TC. Did bring it down to 200 HP, but yeah, I think ultimately this was the sort of way for Kita Boy to get back into the game here after being cleaned so many times, going for the Merc build. Now, the game was ended in a crazy villager pool where Kita Boy pulled his bills all the way up the map, eventually cleaning Phoenix's mass. I think he went down to 13 villagers compared to Phoenix's 37, but yeah, look, the mass was dead and it was game there, and Kita Boy went through to the final. And we have an interview from Kita Boy as well. Thanks, Kita Boy, for giving this to me, so we'll jump straight in. All right, Kita Boy, welcome. Congratulations. How you going?
Thank you very much. I'm good, and you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. I'm better now that I'm talking to you, though.
Glad to hear that.
Right. Well, through to the grand final. What a performance by you. I wasn't expecting 4-1, to be honest with you. I thought we'd get a little bit of a closer game, but like, dude, that was just dominant by you. But yeah, look, let's just jump straight into game one. So, bit of a
Yeah,
classic, Spain v France.
no.
That was just a sort of standard run of the mill game. And the H2 pressure, did you expect it to come as heavy as it did? Like, were you sort of expecting more of a like 10 Musk semi, take down your TP?
Um, I actually expected some H2 pressure, but semi, like you said, like 10 masks at most. Didn't expect him to fully commit to Musk and Haas. It would have maybe worked if I messed up my defense. I think he was praying that I mess up my defense because I do not think Spain loses to Muscat's timing, especially from France. I mean, it could maybe lose to Brit's timing because Brit has way better
A
units
tempo. Yeah.
and more mass. But France isn't scary, like France has to age at some point, and yeah, that's just how it happened. Turned out
Yeah.
it worked for
Yeah,
me.
it did. Well, like I was watching that one live, and once he sort of defended, his resource pool was low, and
No,
yeah, he was just done. It was over. But yeah, that was a sort of standard run of the mill game, and easy win for you once you held.
no,
Um, and game two, the auto mirror. Um,
yeah,
the FF loses to the Rush, unfortunately. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, first loss of my tourney, unfortunately.
yeah, I know. You could have gone the clean sweep, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna do a Hazza. Well, I was facing the seat 3, it's not as easy as we think. I still think it should not work. I think it's me who messed up my build and defense, because I don't think auto H2 should do anything to auto going FF. I should have like fast aged. I had like 2 shipments stacked when I hit H3. Imagine if I click
Yeah, exactly.
faster. I would have like 2 Falk out with like 10 to 15 gen to body block, maybe the Minuteman, but since I slow H, he could just, walk under my TC like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just
You
bad
bought you
played
bought
by me.
yourself some nice time though with the Jan micro around the edge of the map.
Yeah, I mean, it won me time, but at what cost? I lost those units for free. I even popped Minuteman. I thought I could, like trap with the 4 daily popping from TC, but he decided to chase my gen, so he was getting further away from my TC. So my Minuteman didn't really pay off that much. Uh,
Yeah. I think you should have sort of saved that Minuteman pop for when you had something, and you could have cleaned him, I guess, under your TC. Not that he would have committed, but yeah, the cancel.
yeah.
I thought that maybe you'd cancel that 5 gen shipment. Um, Maybe hold it for 6 Abyss, but yeah, I guess you know better than I do. But look, it was a misplay at the end of the day.
Yeah, it happens. It
First
happens.
loss, and look, in the grand scheme of things, didn't really matter, did it?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, Now game three, man, that was pretty toxic by Phoenix, the sending the villager, bro.
Kind of toxic but smart at the same time. Everyone, like every top player that played that map knows that the hunts are awful. Like, I think you have one second hunt and your third hunt doesn't exist, and you have to like go middle, like, or too far, like with your wheels. But you have one second hunt and the third one doesn't exist. So he tried to starve me down. But he probably forgot that I had fishing boats, so like half my eco is already on fish and the
Yeah,
other half is on the hunts. So what it was not like the end of the world for me, and I picked off the villager that was backherding with the 4 Kenya. So in the end, I was happy.
yeah, exactly. And just look, losing precious villager seconds.
Yeah,
To deny that, I don't know how much it actually did for him. And
yeah,
that fight there at the end, look, with in general with the game, you obviously knew you couldn't go too long against Russia. But yeah, it was a nice choke there at the end with the last fight to sort of keep the Cossacks against the pond. I thought that was really
mm.
nice, and you knew you had to take your fight there and avoid something that was a bit more prolonged. And were you surprised Russia took the pond as well, or did you sort of is that sort of standard play these days on Cascade
Um,
Range?
so your question is it normal for Russia to play
Do,
the pawn with Doc?
Yeah, well, just in obviously Cascade Range is a bit of a different one. But were you surprised he did go for the pond?
No, I think it makes sense because there's a low resources map, and Russia usually stacks a lot of wood when they ship 700 wood with the wood trickle from the H1 shipment. They kind of have a lot of wood. I think it makes sense he went for the dog. It's actually well played. I see a lot of people not going for the dog on Cascade Range because there's like 8 fish on the pond, like each pond, and like for the long term, it's not that good. You have to like delete your fishing boat once
Yeah,
those fishes are over because there's no whale for infinite coin. So yeah, I think I liked his dog play, but he just took the fight he should not take and overdid Cossacks against us here with tomahawks.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, look, I guess it's 4K food, but it turned into a nice win for you when you took that fight. He didn't need to take it, and yeah, so
Yeah,
you went up 2-1 there, and the next game was the Lakota Mirror, I believe.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I don't personally think he played that the way he should have, with training bow riders.
Yeah, it was
Walk me through that.
definitely It was definitely a preparation mistake by him. He was just not prepared for the matchup. Like on Mongolia, I knew what I had to do in a mirror, but he didn't know what to do. That's exactly why he played like stable in base, but that's just never works against Lakota playing with a Warhawk in front, with a fast H politician.
Yeah. And the early TP line as well, that just sort of increased your shipment curve and just let you get all your unit
Exactly.
shipments out and gave you the momentum, took the win.
No.
And the final sort of last ditch war hut play with the travois next to your war hut was pretty funny, but you did well. The sort of
That that was ballsy of him, but he had to take a risk because he was already two behind. He
yeah.
like lost 3 X riders to my pop. He doesn't have the map control. Like he had to do something to make it work, but it didn't really work. So it was over at
Such a nice
7 minutes.
pop too.
Yeah.
Just keeping him under your TC for long enough. That was
I
nice.
baited him
You
actually.
did, you
Like
did.
I was like putting my wheels on foot to make him like get closer, and I just popped and yeah,
Yeah,
just a clean up.
that was masterclass. And this was my favorite game of the series. The next one, bro. How
Yeah,
good was that game? Um, Merc play from Germany, definitely like meta right now. Um,
yeah,
yeah, you took some you lost some good fights there under your TC, or good fights for Phoenix, and he forced the H2 play from you. All you really had was the Renegados, and they were just getting shredded by the rods.
yeah.
What was sort of going through your head there when your TC goes down to 200 HP? Did you think it was going
Uh,
down?
I thought I thought the TC would go down actually, but I knew that if he tried to take it down, I would be killing his whole army for it. So in the end, I'm trading 500 wood for 1k worth of unit resources because he had like 10 pikes, few
Yep.
rods. So I was like, it's not that over. Even if he had taken down my TC, I had to like rebuild it with my wheels and explore.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but he didn't even take it down. That was like huge, huge,
yeah.
huge.
That's where it turned. Like the overcommit under the TC just probably wasn't
Yeah,
necessary. Um, but yeah, then the Vil pool. Once you got the remas going, you Vil pulled all the way up, like to pretty
yeah,
much on top of his barracks there. Took the fight well, won the fight well. He had some spies that he trickled into his army as well, which
yeah. I
you
saw.
did well to micro those down quickly.
No,
But yeah, we find ourselves in a position where you got 13 of your own villages. He's got 37, I believe, off the top of my head. No military.
no.
But yeah, what were you thinking there? You just I got to keep running his villages around and the game's over. Obviously, he resigned soon after that. But what was your sort of
Mm,
thoughts as at that point of the game?
I knew that the resources was not like the important thing. The thing was to crush the fight. Like we both massed like a lot. We had both like 120 military pop. So it was like the one who wins this fight doesn't matter if the other guy has like 30 villager more, he's gonna win because you just can't take down the army. Like my army was
Yeah.
unkillable. He could like pump 10 skirm, 10 skirm, 10 rod. I would still win because I had like 9 Ulan, Jaegers, Senatas. They are unkillable. That's why he resigned.
Yeah,
Like it's
and
not like an early resign.
it was a nice army comp too. Those Zanata riders are like ridiculous, and
They are
um,
so good.
they're
Yeah.
they're a joke. And then you got the TP as well for some text. Look, it was brilliant play, but I definitely think Phoenix just sort of chilled out at the start and just kept applying pressure that he could have taken that one off you. But look, we have to capitalize on people's mistakes, don't we?
No, actually, the native play was so I could train the calf, because since I was making mercs and I did a lot of mercs in H2 and in H3, I had like no coin left on the map, and that native has the hand calf native that costs like only food and wood, and since
Yeah.
there's only food and wood left on the map, I was like I could also train those if it's needed, but I didn't need it because I just will pulled and ended the game there. So
Yeah, and yeah, that took us to the end of the series and a 4-1 win. Did drop a game, mate, but look, it's to be expected, I guess. We're at
yeah,
the
yeah,
pinnacle of the tournament now. You're coming up against good players, but moving on to this weekend, we've got Hazza, uh,
yeah.
another really good player mechanically. He's got a great civ pool, just like yourself. What are you sort of
Yeah.
thinking for that matchup?
Um, I don't know like that much because we don't play each other that much. We didn't play each other a lot. Like I would say we played like, I don't know, at best 10 games. This is not a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
So um I'm excited for this weekend. It's gonna be a good series. First to five. There must be a close series, you know, like we
yeah,
will take each other's games, and I'm hoping it's gonna be a very close one.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Have you watched any of his games at all?
Yeah, I watched. It was kinda the same mistake of our opponents, like Frontline and Phoenix didn't prepare like we did. They were like their safe picks was questionable for sure. Like
Yeah,
I don't know, Ethiopia on Lakota, on Mongolia, for example, from Frontline, or Phoenix going Spain against me on the Great Plains, even though he had to play Braids there. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
there's some
yeah.
questionable picks for sure. So
Yeah, look, I agree 100%. And not seeing Phoenix's Brit at all, I think Phoenix would have been pretty pissed off there that he didn't pull Brits once.
yeah, yeah.
Because that probably would have been a game he'd take from you there, and like sort of if he goes Brit there, it goes to 3-2, you know.
It
So,
would have been way closer. But
yeah,
I was
exactly.
prepared for his Brits actually. That's why I was keeping my Germans for Great Plains because I had a plan in my head for his Brits there. He didn't pick Brits, so in the end it was fine.
Just for fun, what would you have done against his Brit? What was the plan?
Well, another Merc play, but this time it was gonna be a Comanchero play. The Germans have the H2 and H3 cards, like the Cav
Yeah,
Combat, Cav HP. They also affect the Comanchers for some reason, so they would be beefier like a lot if I could mass them. They are like so good, and I was gonna like play some H2 German, nuke his FP because he usually plays FP and takes the XP treasure in the middle of Great Plains.
yeah,
You know, the
yeah,
320
yeah, yeah,
XP.
yep, yep.
I'm pretty sure he would have went FP, and I was gonna nuke his FP and just snowball into his base. I think I was quite prepared for his Brits, but in the end he didn't pick it. So
I played that matchup before, Brit into German Merc, and it's actually a really tough matchup for Brit, coming into
I
German
think
Mercs.
it's still Brit favorite for sure. Trust me, it's still tough for German to win, even with Mercs, even with the best plan ever. It's just Brit against German, you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. But look, let's wrap it up there.
Yep.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate
Thank
you
you for your time.
giving me interview 2 weeks in a row, and good luck. This is the big
Thank
one,
you very much.
so
Yeah.
start making plans to spend some prize money, hopefully.
Exactly.
No, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Kiddo Boy.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. All right, into our predictions segment, and we have the grand finale of the tournament, Hazza versus Kiddo Boy. And I've actually got Hazza here taking the tournament. Haven't bet against Hazza yet, and I don't plan on doing it now. He hasn't lost a game in the tournament, and he's looking in really, really good shape. I take nothing away from Keita Boy here. I do see this one going for a 4-3. But yeah, I do see Hazard taking this one ultimately, and I'd love to see it. Now we've got the bronze match with Phoenix versus Frontline, the third place matchup. I see Phoenix taking this one. Take nothing away from Frontline. I do think this is going to be another really high stakes match where it goes to a 4-3 or a 4-2. But yeah, ultimately, I can't see Frontline beating Phoenix here. Now, as always, stick around for our play of the round.
It's over.
And yeah, improved mercenaries is in, so your prayers have been answered.
Yep. This is go time for Ketterboy, and he sees the spies. The spies just unstealth for some reason, not sure why, but was it the explorer? No, I'm not sure why the spies unstealth there.
No, me neither. Maybe they came too close or something. Normally they stay in stealth, right? If they come close to enemy units.
Yeah, as long as it's not an explorer or another spy or outpost, TC, etc. But we're gonna see a Vil pull here. We're gonna see a Vilpool here.
Seems like it.
Oh, but
Look
wow,
at this
what a read
Sonata
by
damage.
Phoenix.
Look at
What
the
a read
damage
by
that it's
Phoenix.
not gonna- And yeah, the villagers are still coming
Fight.
in, and the big fight is breaking loose. One Falcon
Rod's
has
coming in, one Falc down. Skirm gonna be connecting all over all the rods. Look at all these vills. This is insane, actually.
Look at this shit, man. The Great Migration has started. These are the illegal immigrants your country is trying to keep out of their borders, but they are just passing. They're just moving forward. And yeah, Phoenix just shooting them one by one, being a great border patrol here. But some Ulans connecting to the skirmishers here. But Catterboy, man, he's just moving forward with his villagers. What is he doing? Look at this.
Falc going down, I think it's gonna work is the craziest part. Although Vilpool coming here from Phoenix, some more spies coming in from the back, needs to DPS these down as these are gonna be the ones that kill everything. And what is even happening? It looks like this is a cleanup for Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean the
can whip all the
villagers, they tanked a lot. They're still tanking a lot of damage, so actually it might not be over yet.
But hold on a second, keep in mind these are mercs and mercs don't die.
Yeah, exactly. So so really great meat shield there from Catterboy, but yeah, sacrificing your whole economy for this fight. Will it be enough? He's only on 17 villagers now, shipping 9 Ulans. But it seems like he's cleaning up the Rodoleros quite nicely, and his villagers are still being in the way, still being a great meat shield here.
Catterboy quite literally has 3 villagers working to keep making villagers, I guess. But 9 Ulan coming behind from Catter. If we can find the vills here from Spain, this is going to be over. And I mean, he wins the fight. He has just enough anti-cav, still a good mass of skirms, kept a few vills alive, and I think German's ahead here.
Wow. And now these villagers, they don't know what to do, man. They're trying to find some work. But yeah, Catterboy just shipping 9 Ulans, trying to find now trying to get revenge for the murder of all its villagers here. And we see a pause.
Pause coming in, some pause micro perhaps. No.
And damn, that is a very spicy pause.
We're just coming out. This could work.
Man, what a game, man!